the CyberHub bunker and studio, you're tuning in to the CyberHub podcast. And now for your host and CISO, James Azar.
All right, folks. Good morning. Happy Tuesday, January 26th, 2021. Welcome to today's Practitioner Brief directly from the desk of the CISO. Yes, that's right. You get to hear it the way it should be. We'll talk a little bit about what's going on in the markets and in the cyber world today. I say markets. I've been trading a little bit, maybe. All right, we'll get to that later. First of all, I want to ask you to do two things. One, if you're watching us live, comment, say good morning, hello, get your cup of coffee ready. We're about to take a sip of our favorite cup of coffee together. So 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are live right now on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. For those listening on your favorite podcast listening platform, you can watch us live, see all the stories live on the screen. You can catch it there on any of our pages on these social media channels. Look for the CyberHub podcast and you'll get it right there. Infosec hires January. The month is almost over. Beginning of the month, I issued a challenge. I said we want to get 10 people hired through our LinkedIn network, meaning we want to be the ATS system, the applicant tracking system, and really just go through and get people done. Great news, guys. Great news. 8 people have been hired this far. 8. That means 2 left for us to hit our goal of 10. This is a challenge that I'm doing with my great friends, Renee Small and Chris Fallon and Naomi Buckwalter. And now we're now growing it. We're going to 221 people that we want to get hired this year through LinkedIn. So this is unbelievable. It's a great challenge. Renee, morning. Infosec hires. Yeah, we are. Paul, welcome. Good day. Welcome to the show. Thanks so much for tuning in. First time listener. Hope won't be the last. I'll try not to disappoint you. A lot of pressure now, Paul. So Infosec hires 221 people. We'll be sharing a lot more information this Thursday at 11 a.m. on Renee's channel. Hashtag 221 in 2021. Just put that on the screen for all of you guys. We want to get 221 people hired. We don't make any money off of this, folks. This isn't something to promote a business. This is literally a community effort to help get really talented people who are having a hard time breaking into cybersecurity. That's enough about Infosec hires. Let's get into why you're tuning in today, the Practitioner Brief. But before I do that, please make sure to subscribe to our channel right now. And today's show is supported by our friends over at KnowBe4 and Wistic. Thank you so much for your support. Check them out. They are linked below if you're watching us on YouTube or you're listening on your favorite podcast listening platform. Great supporters. Without them, this show would not be possible. Let's get right into what's going on today. So Cisco has now Cisco's DNA Center bug, which opens enterprise to remote attack, has been patched. The high severity security vulnerability, also known as CVE 2021-1257, allows cross-site request forgery attacks. The vulnerability itself, which has a severity score of 7.1, making it an extremely high severity. So Cisco DNA is the networking giant's software-defined approach for aligning campuses, branches, WAN, and remote workers elements of the enterprise networks. The DNA allows the admin to provision and configure all network devices, and it uses AI and machine learning to proactively monitor, troubleshoot, and optimize network performance. It also integrates with third-party systems. In short, it has deep reach and visibility, something that is extremely critical. This vulnerability, which would have allowed an attacker to exploit the vulnerability by social engineering a web-based management user into following a specifically crafted link, say via phishing email or chat. If the user clicks the link, the attackers can then perform arbitrary actions on the device within the privileges of the authenticated user. The vulnerability is fixed in the Cisco DNA Center software releases 2.11.0, 2.12.0, 2.12.3, and 2.12.4 and later. Cisco does credit Benoit Malabouf and Dylan Grenade from the telecom company Orange for reporting the vulnerability and helping Cisco address that. There are several other Cisco security bugs here that you can take a look at, including one critical severity flaw CVE 2021, which exists in the web-based management interface of Cisco SD-WAN vManage software. The bug, which got a 9.9 out of 10 CVSS scale, could allow an unauthenticated remote attacker to gain root access level to an affected system. Good morning, Yassine. Thank you for tuning in. All right, guys, let's move into our next story. This one, significant. So Phishers are targeting C-suite with fake Office 365 password expiration report. Microsoft has always been kind of like the Achilles heel of phishing. It's easy to manipulate those pages, not to say that Google isn't as well, but more organizations are in Office 365. This one is a very specific phishing attack campaign. It's targeting the C-suite. It's significant because they're essentially sending a notice to let people know that your password does expire. If you want to renew it, click here. They click there. They land on a page. So a few things. One, if you're using Office 365, there's a feature in the security suite called SafeLink. And what SafeLink does is it scans that link. Microsoft actually scans that link to make sure that the link is authentic and takes to a real page. So you can do that as well. I know we're supposed to get a drink of coffee. I got so excited about Infosec Hires, I forgot, but I'm having a double espresso. You guys should take a sip of your coffee as well. Once the potential victim clicks on the keep password option, they go to a phishing page. There, they see all the they're essentially able to credential stuff and steal the credentials and then get access to those executives' email accounts, and then from there, obviously, go through and perform their fraud, whatever they're looking to do at the time. So something to keep in mind. Again, if you're using Office 365, this applies to you. SafeLink, an unbelievable security feature by Microsoft, comes, I think, standard with the upgraded Office 365 account, but it really does take down these attacks. Google is warning that North Korean government hackers are targeting security researchers. They're doing this through social engineering. So if you're a security researcher and you're working on various researchers, what they're doing is they're doing browser drive-bys where essentially they're sending you to blogs that they've set up, phishing you in through Twitter, LinkedIn, or Reddit, or Discord. And then once you get in there, they're essentially taking... They're able to install malware on what you're doing through the browser drive-by and get and they're targeting specifically security researchers. So they're going after the cybersecurity community. This appears to be North Korean, according to Google. The group that's associated with this is Korean. They're using Twitter, LinkedIn, Telegram, Discord, Keybase, and email, mostly on users running Microsoft Windows operating system, which is also extremely critical. They're seeing Google here is asking that if you see any vulnerabilities in Chrome that you do report them. They believe they're taking advantage of a 0-day within Chrome to do these browser drive-bys. They haven't been able to find it, but if you know what it is, please report that to Google so that they can get it taken care of. Our final story of the day here before we wrap up is the DreamBus botnet is targeting enterprise apps running on Linux servers. So it's using exploit and brute force to get into various Linux systems. It includes a wide collection of apps like the PostgreSQL, Redis, Hadoop, Yarn, Apache Scarp, HashiCorp, Council, SaltStack, and the SSH service. Some of these apps are targeted with brute force attacks against their default admin usernames, and others with malicious commands sent to exposed API endpoints or via exploits for older vulnerabilities. The idea is to give the DreamBus gang a foothold on Linux servers where they could later download and install an open source app that mines the Monero cryptocurrency to generate profits for the attackers. This is predominantly a botnet right now for Monero crypto mining, but it's very, very easy, according to Zscaler, for them to actually turn that over and turn it into a very successful payload and malware and be able to infiltrate your system and even launch a ransomware attack that way. So you want to be advised of that as well. There's a few measures to prevent. The DreamBus employs quite a few measures to also prevent easy detection. One of them was that all systems infected with the malware communicated with the botnet's command and control server via the new DNS over HTTPS protocol. It's very rare. It's a complex setup, which shows you the sophistication of this specific botnet. They're essentially saying this might be Russian or Eastern European simply because of when the botnet is really operating is during business hours in Russia. But again, there's a lot of different challenges within this specific botnet. Don't go to sleep on it. That's it for our practitioner brief here today, folks. Thanks so much for tuning in and watching today's show. Thank you for all who commented and tuned in live. We are going to be live again tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. You can catch us on your favorite podcast listening platform. Until then, folks, thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your day. And most importantly, stay cyber safe.
We love feedback, so make sure to connect with us on social media and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform.